Boundaries. What are they? What do they mean? And why are they so important? In this video, we are going to get into the nitty-gritty of why you need to have boundaries, why they're important to maintain, and what that even means. What does it mean to put up and maintain boundaries? I need some practical examples. Don't worry, in this video, I am going to give you everything you need to know about boundaries and keeping them and maintaining them so that you can be the happiest version of yourself, so that you can be the fullest version of yourself. So stay tuned. Let's get into it. My boundaries are what keep me safe. My boundaries are the well-defined line between what is acceptable and what is not. Here are 3 ways and reasons to maintain your boundaries. 1, to start this off, it's understanding that your boundaries are like a fence. They're not a defense, they are simply a fence that protects you from the potential dangers, whether that be physical, emotional, mental. The fence guards what's inside. And so your boundaries are a line of definition saying this is what I accept, this is what I allow, and this is the type of behavior or action that allows and enables me to flourish. Your boundaries are simply a way to protect yourself. Think of a fence, right? A fence is put up to protect the house that it surrounds, right? Anyone who has the key to the fence or has access to enter the property is allowed to freely come in. I know who you are, I know what you're about, and so I give you access to come into my home. I give you access to roam my property because I know who you are and I trust you. That is in essence our boundaries. It's the fence that we put up so that we don't just have the general public coming into our homes. Now, when I say our home is our mind, our home is our spirit and our heart. Who we are is our home, and so we have to have boundaries so that not everybody has access to us, not everybody has influence over us, right? Now, where this gets a little bit tricky and complicated is when we start to put up a really high fence and no one is able to come in, right? We don't want to get to that point where our boundaries become a defense. You can't come in because I'm sensitive, or you can't come in because I've seen someone like you before and I know how this plays out. No, that's when the fence becomes a defense, right? And that's when we actually push people away. Our boundaries are simply a fence. It's protecting us. It's making sure that anyone that has access to us meets a certain criteria. Now, that criteria is something that you've got to figure out for yourself. What do I need in other people? What do I truly value? What helps me flourish? What does the opposite, right? What takes away from me? What drains my energy? Second, setting up boundaries is not enough. You have to actually implement them. So, here's an example. I personally value when people respect my time, and so it's my job and my duty to communicate this expectation with the people that I'm around. When my expectations are not being met, I don't all of a sudden put up a fit and throw people out or cancel people out of my life, cut them off. No, I communicate that, hey, this is my expectation. If I show up on time, I expect you to show up on time. If I respect your time, I expect that same respect, vice versa. And so it's important to not only communicate those boundaries, but actually act accordingly. And so what that looks like is not continuously saying, hey, I need you to respect my time. Hey, I need you to respect my time. Hey, I need you to respect my time, but actually taking action. I'm communicating what I need, but I actually have to make my actions align with that. And so maybe that looks like not hanging out with this person because every time you do, your time is not respected and it actually drains you. And so it's giving the people the opportunity to show up for you, but when they don't and when those boundaries are continuously crossed and disrespected, we have to then respect ourselves and say, you know what, maybe this friendship is not for me, or maybe this person is not for me, you know? That's where the self-love aspect comes in it. But before we can get to that point, we have to make sure that we're communicating our boundaries, right? And it's not just saying it once, you know, we're human beings. Sometimes it takes time to learn things, right? So give people the opportunity to show up for you, but when they don't, this plays into implementing those boundaries, is actually saying, okay, you can't have access to me anymore. It's too much. It's a bit draining. Now I have to take action and I've got to pull away. 3, self-reflection. In order to define strong and firm boundaries, you first need to understand yourself. An easy way to get started is by taking note of when you feel drained. What are the actions that led up to that point? That might be an area where a boundary is needed. Do you ever hang around people and notice that they're draining your energy, or you realize that you let one too many things slide and end up hating when you're around certain people, or hating being in certain environments, right? In those moments, it's important to backtrack when you started to feel drained. When did my energy start to shift, right? It's in those moments where we're like, okay, let me do some self-reflection so that I could see where that shift began and what I could do so that that doesn't happen again, right? And so when we do that self-reflection and when we do that backtracking, we can actually find the point where a potential boundary was crossed and where a boundary may need to be implemented, right? So I know for me, going back to, you know, being on time, right? I know for me in the past, a lot of friends would not necessarily respect my time. I'm the type of person that will show up 15 minutes early because I'm just like, I don't want to stress and have to rush to meet up with anybody, right? But not everybody is like that. And some people don't mind being 15 minutes late. Some people don't mind being 30 minutes or even an hour late. And what I noticed in the past was I would not really stick up for myself and not really communicate how that would affect me. And so what that would look like would be meeting up with someone that shows up an hour late, right? And so now I'm already in my feels, I'm already angry, I feel disrespected, but I haven't communicated that. And so throughout our interaction, I'm sour, my energy is drained, I don't even want to be here anymore, right? And so in that moment, looking to see where a boundary needs to be placed is looking at that moment and backtracking and saying, okay, Abby, when did your energy shift? Your energy shifted about 30 minutes in when you were waiting for this person. No heads up, no, hey, I'm going to be late text. You're just waiting for this person. And that's when you checked out, right? And so I know for future reference, okay, 30 minutes is my threshold. I don't like waiting more than 30 minutes for anyone. And so I'm going to communicate that to this person that I'm hanging out with, and I'm going to communicate that to other people so that I don't get to the point where I'm bitter and I'm like, I don't even want to hang out with you anymore. And so that's really what the backtracking looks like. And what that requires is self-reflection. What that requires is taking the time to really understand and kind of tap into your feelings, right? Tap into when you started to feel different, when that energy shift began. So boundaries. What are some boundaries that you think that you need to work on, that you think you need to start implementing and acting on? Leave a comment down below. But before we sign off, I just want to add this one thing. Remember that your boundaries are not to push people away. They are actually what allow you to develop strong, meaningful, and flourishing relationships. It's within our boundaries that we can truly connect, where I'm filled and you're filled. And so your boundaries are simply a safety guard. It isn't to push people away. It isn't to exile ourselves. No, it's to bring the people that truly value us, that truly respect us, that genuinely care for our well-being, to bring those folks closer and to bring those folks into our lives. And so your boundaries are not a defense. They are a means of self-protection and a means for developing and growing meaningful connection. I hope this video was super helpful for anyone learning about boundaries, for anyone that feels they need to implement some boundaries. Definitely give this video a like, definitely give this video a rewatch if you need to, and come back to it when you feel you're struggling with implementing boundaries. It is something that needs to be practiced. It isn't something that's learned overnight, especially if you're someone that is non-confrontational like myself. Standing up for yourself, standing up for your needs and your wants, and actually setting up boundaries can be a bit intimidating, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, and the more you're like, whoa, I should have done this a lot sooner, because man, are my relationships flourishing. Man, am I able to really have fun and connect with a wide array of people, right? And so take it day by day, take it easy, and know that it's a learning process, and you will get to the point where you can set up boundaries with ease eventually. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Like, comment, subscribe for future videos like this. Tell me what you liked. And yeah, I'll see you guys in another video, I guess. Bye for now.